this month, which is fantastic.
With the
MLB has already pulled back their logo, and multiple organizations have pulled back their Pride logos.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Two shit emojis with a rainbow.
Is that what you're
Nothing against gay people? I'm talking about you fuckers that go out into the middle of the street with kids.
Careful.
No, I'm not being careful. This needs to be said. Going out in the middle of the street, damn near naked, when there's kids out there, and you know there's kids going to be out there because you know there's some trash ass parents that are going to take their kids to go and see that.
There's a lot.
Why don't we just lower the age of getting into a strip club? Now let's just go ahead and do it. Since you're letting men run around with boobs and other boobs hanging out their pelvis, showing through their freaking underwear. I mean, might as well. Might as well. Intro is so inspiring.
That's what I call a hard open right there. Good job, Kaecey, with that. Truth will set you free, episode 186. Special guest, KSOK minus Ron. Ron couldn't make it. He had technical difficulties. We don't know. We heard things. There was a pride parade and an unfortunate technological glitch. Don't know what happened there. Like this video, share this video, do all things with this video. This is what we're talking about on this show. Episode 186, we are going to talk about the underreported ATF raid in Arkansas that resulted in the death of the gun owner. Have we heard about this? No, you haven't. Very weird. We'll also talk about the congressional hearing with Tony Fauci. I think that'll take up a lot of the show, which will push a little bit further because we know the beginning of the show, they're going to hear me probably go ham, lose my mind. We're going to talk about Trump's next moves and the Negro Leagues. The Negro Leagues merging with the Major Leagues. And we're going to have a little conversation about that and the kind of concept. Yes, Cash, what's the matter?
I thought that happened back with Jackie Robinson.
No. The records of the Negro Leagues are being merged with Major League Baseball. And I have mixed. What's that?
So wait a minute. Time out.
Let's start there. Perfect.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me right now, see, I didn't know this. You're telling me that the MLB didn't let Negro records be a part of the MLB? You know why? I know why. Because there'd be no Babe Ruth.
Well, he was partially black.
Doesn't matter. He didn't hit the ball. He didn't hit the ball like the brother did. You know.
Rumor. Well, you're thinking of Josh Gibson, which is now all over. We'll start with this.
Yeah.
I know I'm not drinking water today, but Kelly actually went and got me a tea.
See, I told you we should have never let them.
Let's get right into this one. Because honestly, I read it and I was like, cool, this is a good thing. And then I'm like, wait a second. So what the thing behind this is that the Negro League records, I mean, they've been recognized by what's been recognized is their greatness. Major League Baseball Hall of Fame has had that. What wasn't recognized is the records. So the thing that I have an issue with the records is it's two completely different leagues, different amount of games, different level of players. Like there's some great players, but the pitching was different. The batting was different. The thing is, and at first I was like, this is a good thing. But like, for example, Josh Gibson is now the career hit leader. I think the batting average leader. So there's like past Ty Cobb, which is ironic because Ty Cobb was a piece of shit. But a lot of things have shifted because of this move in terms of the records. And the thing is, the seasons are very different. There was I would say greater players in the Negro Leagues, but the level of great players didn't counterbalance some of the really bad players.
You know why they're doing this?
Why?
They're doing this to combat all of those foreigners that play in the MLB. So like, oh, we need some good old Americans, even if they're darker, to go ahead and shatter these records.
Well, you're actually bringing up a point that people are arguing. People like Ichiro and all these, they're like, are we going to start including their Japanese baseball records? Like, where do we start including that? But the level of play is really good in those.
Those are Americans.
Well, it's major. It doesn't say American League Baseball. It's Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but it's America's pastime. It says it. It's there. It's what we say. It's America's pastime.
So I'm honestly torn. I actually can go either way on this conversation. I think it's difficult. People in the comments, go ahead and let us know what you feel in terms of whether or not they should merge the records. Like at first I had to be like, Do I not want them to merge the records because it's a racist thought in my brain? But then I'm like, statistically, you can't compare two completely different leagues. I firmly believe they should be in the Hall of Fame. I believe in the greatness that was Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige before he came to the major leagues. There's a plethora of great Negro League players, but you can't compare two completely different leagues. You can't put Major League Baseball records when they never were actually playing on a major league team, in my opinion.
So it's like we had basically they were A players playing on a B team. So you're saying who they were playing against, that definitely impacted their stats versus everyone else who's playing on an A team.
Right.
Okay, I get that.
I mean, let's just be real here. The Negro League is a higher caliber player than
not at all.
It definitely is.
No, the Negro League player had players that were potentially better than those in the major leagues, but the actual talent pool across the average player, like if you look at the median average player, I don't think it was as high. Again, I can't say for a fact, but fact is the reason
baseball. Negro League was always smoking hot, and then you had the MLB, and they were like, that's why they won't let them come in because they're gonna smoke all the other players.
Well, you look at Jackie Robinson, the first, broke the color barrier, one of the greatest to play the game. He had a good batting average. His stats were good to almost great. He was also not one of the best Negro League players.
About to say that. He wasn't even one of the best.
He wasn't one of the best. So then there's just a lot of questions.
Yeah. Mathematically, it might not work out.
I'm just glad that they're finally doing it, They're desegregating the records of baseball. That's what I'm talking about. Good job, America.
I just feel like it to me, it feels like pandering for no point. Because again, if you really look at it statistically, just because we think like you have an opinion that the players were better, I have an opinion that some of the players might have been the best player in the Major League Baseball. But this is, what this is like? This is like if we did a video game simulation of players now and players then, or Muhammad Ali against Mike Tyson. We could do a simulation all we want, but it's two completely different levels. So it's therefore
Tyson would have knocked him out though, just for the sake of argument.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think he was the most ferocious man in the history of boxing.
Listen, I swear, if you would have put me in the ring with Muhammad Ali, I'd eat his face off. That's what I did. I'd hit him so hard he would have went to sleep. He would have had Parkinson's way before. Would have ended his career.
Oh my gosh, pretty
Kaecey,
accurate.
what do you think? You haven't said anything because John. At this point, John doesn't really care. But I think it's a good topic.
Not really. I'm done with it already.
I honestly don't care. But when it comes to baseball, because I'm not a big fan of the sport, I'll watch it, but that's about it. But when you are comparing two different leagues, you shouldn't mix the results. And if you do, by the way, you are also taking away from that other league, trying to mix them in with the bigger league. Right? You should actually keep them separated so you can see the stats better. I would keep them separated. Fountains. You don't have the USFL. You don't have the USFL or the UFL mixing results with the NFL today.
Not yet.
You won't.
They'll never do it.
They'll never do it.
That's the other, this is so and I hate to say the DEI side, because to me, it's not about the race card. It's more about the fact that you can't compare two leagues and pretend you can bring them together. But how ironic is it that there's still Negro League records that obviously there was no white people playing in, which again, that's a hard equivalency because that's just the way the world was garbage at that point in terms of this. But there's now black records, and then there's the MLB that include the Negro Leagues in there, which was a league that never played together until they came into Major Leagues. It's just
but you can't really. There's no such thing as white Negroes.
Are you sure?
Okay.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying. I've never seen a white Negro.
You seem very confident in that answer. Are you
Vanilla
sure?
Ice, Machine Gun Kelly.
No, Vanilla Ice would be a Caucasian.
Okay.
Eminem.
So if there was a Caucasian baseball league, which is what the MLB used to be, but they just didn't name it that, then I can understand the argument for not having the Negro Leagues records in there because it says Caucasian in the title. But in the Negro League,
you make a valid
I'm being
point.
funny, guys. I don't care about this.
We need to split up all of rap. Eminem needs to have his own category. The rest of rap has their own.
No,
he
gets a pass. Eminem was raised in the hood. He gets a pass.
Oh my
He's-
gosh.
he gets a pass,
Oh
bro.
my
He
God.
can even say nigga if he wanted to.
This was the troll from last week. Okay. That was all. I want to have a little fun with that one. Let's talk Trump. Let's talk. I've spent way too much time on radio and even now TV talking about Trump. Biden today decided to make the speech about the border wall. He decided to make it all about Trump. Well, not all about Trump. He made it a campaign speech about essentially tried to hint that Trump and the Republicans are soft on the border, ignoring the fact that the reason why we turned down the bills is somehow we had enough balls to avoid Ukraine. Tom McDonald, hey. We had enough balls to not fund foreign wars as a part of our border bills. It's such ignorant pandering to people that don't understand what really happens behind the walls of government. Unfortunately, that's the bulk of the country, so they're going to eat it up with the spoon. But let's first talk Trump. Do you think the conviction, because this happens obviously since our show last week, do you think the conviction helps or hurts Trump? Let's start with our guest KSOK, and then we'll go around the table.
Yeah, no, just based on everything I've seen, it's helping him quite a bit, not only financially, but a lot of people who were not comfortable speaking out are now voicing their concern just with the legal system aspect alone. And so I think it absolutely helps him. And there was a Babylon Bee put something out today. Obviously, it was satire, but it's like Biden now wants a few federal convictions, under his belt so he can fundraise. Yeah. Hey, that would be amazing. But I don't know if that'll ever happen. But yeah, no, helping him for sure.
Yeah. Cash.
Definitely helps him, especially amongst the felon community, as I myself am a part of. Felons of all colors, of all shades, everywhere. We're voting our convicted brother into office. He's got the whole vote of every felon that is in existence. And that matters. Felons' votes matter. I'm gonna throw that out there.
That's a good shirt.
Yep.
I didn't. We should think about that.
I was gonna say that shirt. Your shirt's so great. You have the shirt.
I know. We had one of our Rose got her shirt already. She was one of the first people to buy it. Got it before I got mine. Did you get yours?
Not yet.
Well, Cash, we need to put together an order. We need to sit down.
Can we make a shirt that says proud to be a felon, and have Trump's picture under it because of Trump underneath? Proud to be a felon because of Trump.
Don't quit your day job. I don't think that was
Trump.
you think.
Proud to be a felon.
That'll only fit on a 5X t-shirt. So you're going to have to figure out how you're going to make it fit on a smaller shirt.
We'll just put the letters.
It's so funny though. Our minds were like working at the same time. Cause I was like, I went to my Cricut and I printed out a t-shirt and I'm putting it on. You're like, I just put that on my store an hour ago. So I'm like, I'm not selling mine. Sell yours on my page. So it worked out well. I'm just making mine at my dining room table.
Cash tried that at one point. Cash was like, I got a t-shirt press. I'm going to make some t-shirts. And then he ended up regretting it.
Not for me.
Yeah, it's so much work.
See, Cash, there's your shirt. We messed around. You were ignoring us in the chat when we were talking about this. We were trying to figure out how to make that work.
Did not see it.
If you do like that shirt, guys, go to wakenowwokestore.com. Use truth for 20% off. Okay, Kaecey, what's your opinion on this whole thing? What do you think the odds were of Trump winning before and now after?
Oh, I've been saying it since the beginning. This certified that he is going to be our president in 2024.
Awesome.
He raised over $200 million in 2 days. Yeah. Show me a presidential candidate that has ever done that.
One of it was $100 million from I guess an heir to a magazine company or something like that. She's been a big Trump supporter. She raised $100 million, but regardless, even $100 million, a lot of money.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can throw, and this is what I've been saying all along: is if the left would stop, Trump might sink his own ship, but the left keeps going. So you're going to guarantee him to be reelected. The part that they're doing now is they're now getting it so guaranteed that Trump's going to be able to have these serious conversations, which there's already murmurs about with Elon Musk and others. He's building out his cabinet already. And it's a done deal, man. Trump will be elected in 2024.
I think he went from 2-1 favorite to 4-1 favorite. I mean, and the reason I mean, obviously there's no chance in my mind that he would lose in a real world, but I still don't trust our government. What I saw out of this,
Right.
first off, is he appealing? Yes.
Well, you better.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's appealing.
He literally had his rights taken away from him because there are felonies.
And will he win the first appeal? Probably not, because it's going to be in the exact same place. It's in the exact same district. But, you know, the argument is how many people are saying that you guys, he finally got convicted. How can you possibly think that he's not a bad guy at this point? Well, please tell me what he got convicted of. He got convicted of what was a misdemeanor that was Stormy Daniels admitted in writing and on camera that there was no affair at one point. And then she went to say that there was, and then she went to say that there was, but there was no SA. And then she went on to now say during the trial that there was SA. Like this has changed so far across the board. And of course, liberals saying, I don't understand how MAGA can support a felon. Thank you, Kaecey. Meanwhile, we literally have had a celebration. The left has had a celebration for a man that didn't do white collar quote unquote crimes or didn't pay hush money. He held a gun, or was it a gun or a knife, to a pregnant woman's belly when he gun.
Don't judge him based off of his past. He didn't do that before he died.
Yeah, but when he died, he died of a fentanyl overdose. Let's be pretty clear. So
whatever.
It's just very confusing to me that the messaging comes the way that it does from the left. And watching the Chuck Schumers today talk about the fact that this was not a sham trial. Don't let them misinform you. This is a conspiracy theory that it was a sham trial. Talked about the fact that the jury was chosen by the Trump campaign. Okay, the jury was chosen out of a pool of a 6% red community. That's what the county was. So let me counter that statement from Chucky Shoe. So that's false. He then said that Judge Merchan was a judge selected from a pool of judges. Incorrect. He was not even on the list from appointed. District Attorney Bragg. He was hand selected, put to the front of the line. And then he said Bragg was not selected by the Department of Justice. That is accurate. But Bragg ran because they were like, he was elected by his, community. He was elected based on running on a platform of I will get Trump. How you can look at this as a fair trial. And I'm just scratching the surface of this, like just scratching the surface. So when people are celebrating and saying, we got him, I got news for you, ladies and gents. You got him based on complete and utter garbage, period.
Yeah, when this whole entire situation, guys, if you don't understand the severity of this, that they are able to practically make up charges and accuse you of it in the court of law, don't think that will actually become a precedent that could be used against you in the future.
Hey, we've been saying this for years. I'm so glad that everybody in the conservative audience is just catching on to this. This is great. I'm so glad. I ain't gonna lie. Trump, I'm glad that this happened to you, bro, because you're bringing light to the justice system. This has been happening to niggas for a very long time. It's called ghost dope. They don't even got to have dope. They can say, you look like a drug dealer. We saw you talking to a drug dealer. Therefore, you're a drug dealer. You know how I know? Because it happened to me. Just saying. The crime that I got convicted of on top of January 6th, I did not commit. That's the God's honest truth. I didn't even know half of the dudes except for the ones I was trying to pull out the game. I literally got convicted for drugs that I never touched, never seen, never took, nothing. I'm just saying, thank you, Trump. I appreciate it. This is great.
So this is an interesting statement. And for people that don't know this, and again, I forget that people don't pour into the news like we do. But the reason why I do think this changed minds, because you're going to see that the leftist media, they're showing a statistic from, I don't even know what poll or where they found it. 15% of Republicans, because of the conviction, are going to change their vote away from Trump. 49% of independents are going to change their mind because of this vote. There's no world that I can see this being true, because social media technically takes the temperature of the country. And all that we're seeing based on money raised and based on social media is that more and more people are coming to the Trump camp. Perfect example is that first $53 million of fundraising in 24 hours, 30%, 30% was new Trump donors. That speaks volumes. The reason I didn't donate yet, I probably will donate. The reason I didn't donate yet is because when I gave $50 to the last campaign, I still to this day get emails every 12 minutes from the Trump campaign, and it drives me nuts.
Oh, that's
there's an unsubscribe at the bottom of the email, right?
I hit it. I still like they're breaking. That's if you want to know what Trump is guilty of, his campaign is guilty of not paying attention to internet privacy laws, period.
Oh my goodness. I have to share it. I lost all credit or credibility for the 3-letter agencies. And this is when I was 23. I was a bank teller and I was robbed at gunpoint while a teller. And the FBI detained somebody on the side of the street. I had given the description, etc. So had my coworker, and they were trying to convince me that this person who had different color eyes, right? When you have a mask on, you remember the eyes because that's all you can see.
Yeah.
But this guy had brown eyes. The guy that robbed me had blue eyes. The hoodie was a different color. I mean, they were working so hard to twist it and have this guy be the guy, right? And it was at that time that I was like, whoa, this is not good. Like if I was one that was easily swayed, some fool out there that, oh, sure, yeah. This guy, this innocent dude just driving down the street could have been convicted of bank robbery. But yeah, I lost it all right there. It was a really negative experience. So I know how much injustice takes place, and this is shedding a light on just a fraction of it.
And that the crazy thing is that would have been enough to convict in a lot of ways, which is exactly what just happened to Trump. You have a guy, they didn't take a bank teller that has led an honest life to the age of 23 and a decent person. They took a convicted criminal in what the hell's his name? Why am I drawing a blank? The dipshit. What's the guy?
George Floyd?
No, the one that they use
Cohen.
Cohen, thank you. Yeah. They use Cohen to convict a man based on what his word is, which he's already been found guilty of perjury, lying to Congress, lying in a court of law. And he was the linchpin that allowed them to convict. And this judge didn't allow. And I love the way that they try to fact check. The left tries to fact check because Trump says his guy, Bradley Smith, was not allowed to come in and counter his statements. And they say, oh no, Bradley was allowed to come in the courtroom. He absolutely was allowed to come in the courtroom. Guess what else he was not allowed to do? Use any of his background knowledge to counter the argument of Cohen. He had been put on not a gag order, but there were certain things he was not allowed to say, which would have been the whole reason he would have been there in the first place. So they're able to say, oh no, Trump's making this up. He was allowed to come in the courtroom. He was literally allowed to come in the courtroom and give a very gray testimony that would have helped no one. So this whole trial was rigged. And I use the word rigged, and the left will go, oh, you just love to say elections are rigged and this is rigged. It's bullshit. When something is so blatantly rigged, I have no words for you except for shit's rigged.
I have to do the icing on the top here because so as we're driving away, I said, no, that's not the guy, right? So then the police car I'm in the back of stops and the FBI guy whispers something into the officer's ear and they both look in the rear view back at me. And he said, that guy said you dated his brother, the guy they had detained on the side of the street. And I was like, I don't know. I might have, because I don't know. It's like that, single mingle type. And
I take back that whole honest life thing that I said.
But they thought I was like in on it for a second because apparently I dated this dude's brother. So that's why I was saying it was the wrong guy. But
Did you keister the gun? Did you keister it?
Oh, good times.
And talking about perception, because they need everything they can do to make it seem like people are leaving. It's like a trend. It's the way you play on minds. It's like, oh, they took the vaccine. You should take the vaccine. Same type thing with Trump. And we're seeing it. Like you've got the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers, the snub when he went into the UFC, where it looked as though Trump walks past and Aaron Rodgers didn't get up to shake his hand. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers had to post a picture because people are like, oh, Rodgers hates Trump. Meanwhile, there's a whole thing of them shaking hands afterwards. He posted a picture just in that moment. He let him walk by and they didn't have a conversation. And they literally ran with that story. The leftist media, social media, they run with that story. What I want to know is what was said between Trump and Joe Rogan when they exchanged about 12 seconds of words. Do you think that we see Trump on Joe Rogan before the election?
No.
Yes.
Yes, I say yes.
Epic.
Yes.
Oh.
Because they're friends. They know each other. It's going to happen.
Used to be friends.
But here's the thing. Trump is going to be going on and doing a town hall on X with Elon Musk, which had a huge disaster when Elon Musk was in Trump's cabinet in 2017, because Elon and Trump didn't see eye to eye. This is the first time they're getting back together to really talk about things. And I see you're going to see Trump going on all these platforms. Trump went on TikTok. He's on there for all of you TikTok fiends. That he's on there now.
Was on TikTok?
Yeah. That was just announced at UFC this weekend.
He just got on. The joke is he got on TikTok, posted one thing, and he in a matter of 24 hours he already had more followers than Biden and Kamala. So I think that's interesting.
So I think this is indicating Trump's going to do his tour around all the different platforms to bring people around. Is what it is.
You think he gets back on? He's got to get back on X, right?
I think that's what the town hall is. I don't think he's going to post on X or make any official statement like that, because it will hurt his value at truth. So,
bro, this man's got 5.2 million people on TikTok, and his first post is at 82.1 million.
Wait, did you say 82 million?
82.1 million.
So that's 1 million more than Biden's amount of voters.
That's a really
That
good
is
point.
crazy. Holy hell.
So I do think we see him on Rogan.
I agree. I think we do too, and that will be Joe Rogan's. I mean, he's had a big audience for Peter McCullough, big audience for Dr. Malone. I think this breaks the internet. This will be the biggest podcast in history, especially now that the Tyson Jake Paul fight is not happening right away, which bums me out to all get out. I think this will be the most watched podcast in the history of podcasts.
Sure,
it definitely would. I'd be watching it.
They should do it live. They should. I'm gonna hate to say this. They should charge $1 for it and then put it to charity.
I wouldn't be surprised Elon does that. But the thing is, with this being on X is going to be announcing soon a whole new streaming platform for to be doing streaming on it. I think that's going to be the formal announcement of, hey, this is the new platform. This is how we're going to bring everybody to X.
Is anybody paying attention to how good X is becoming?
I'm loving X, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Wait, what a minute. Like, where have I been and where have you guys been?
Yeah.
They're creating
build for me lately.
Yeah, they're creating so many different streaming options. The way that the algorithm is working is completely different. So everybody's saying Elon's stupid. Elon shouldn't buy this. Elon has been the visionary to make Twitter an actual, because I used to think it was a joke. Twitter is an actual competitive social media app that it was not a year ago.
Right.
I like it.
So anyways, before we get off the Trump thing, the one big thing is always narrative. And this is one of the big things we talked about. I talked about on some of the radio shows is the perception was that, and we talked about it when we did the show right after it happened. Like, what do we do? Like, I feel this in my gut, and I'm going to make a statement right now, and I'm going to say something that I think is important. And I don't know if I've mentioned it in the last couple of days on different lives or rants or whatever I've done.
Russo's coming out of the closet in June.
So I have something very important. I was something very important to say, guys. No, in all reality, like this is, Kash was in jail for a period of time for January 6th. And we had just become friends 6 months before that. Kaecey, right around the same time. We've been doing this. I know KSOK got more politically active, obviously, during that COVID time. And we have fought tooth and nail. And this is as much as we get called grifters and that we're just doing this and we're just screaming in a echo chamber and all this stuff. And Kash is on Pilled, and I think we might end up moving the show to Pilled as well. There's no financial benefit to us doing any of this, as I've got something scrolling across the bottom of the screen saying, please buy a t-shirt. It's not like we make any.
Keep the lights on.
I get to go buy my own shirts that I think are cool. That's kind of what happens. I love when people buy a couple things, but at the end of the day, what I've made the decision, I actually set a metric of like right around now, actually last month, I said that if I don't make this a financially sustainable thing, I can't continue to do this. With that said, seeing what's happened to Donald Trump and seeing even the Fauci hearings, which we're going to get into that in a second, which was just a whole bunch of theater, seeing what's going on in our country, I'm going to make this promise. I am going to go as hard as I can until November. And I think that I'm sure that the people on the screen feel the same way. This election is not a joke. Seeing what's happened to Donald Trump, this is not like, I think this is the most important election in our lifetime. This, to me, and not to sound like a fearmonger, this is the potential end of what is the greatest idea in the history of the world, the greatest country, the strongest empire, the strongest nation. We are at the end stages. And whether it's 100 people watching or whether it's 2,000 people watching or whether it's 100,000 people watching, I'm going to go as hard as I can until November. At that point, I will tell you one of two things are going to happen. Donald Trump wins. And I'm going to tell you what happens when Donald Trump wins. Country's going to go to shit, not because of Donald Trump. We will be on a full-blown fight for information. I think it's going to be important for Donald Trump to win the popular vote because that at least gives high ground and saying, no, trust me, he not only won the Electoral College, he won the popular vote, which I think this conviction just did. So when that happens and the world goes to crap, my messaging is going to be very much of what Kash and I talked about from the very beginning and also when he came out of jail, which is hard to say that that's our messaging now because we have to fight. Like this is a fight at this point. But at that point, in order to heal the country, because there's going to be a lot of shit happening, it's going to be more of a be the change message. Facts. If it turns out to be Biden winning by whatever way or Newsom winning, which is what I would see the left actually doing, and our country will be eroded, I stick with politics. I also think there's a financial opportunity when your side is against you. And there's a chance to actually monetize, but we have to be able to monetize as a show. And I'm not asking for money right now or anything like that, but that's what I'm going to promise is for the next several months, with the help of this team, we are going to go full out because our country, our children's future depends on it. Because at this point, you've got a bunch of crazy ass people that are looking to take over the country that are more than willing to have pride parades with nut sacks in front of children and say, if you don't think this is okay, you're a bigot. You're a terrible person. You're a homophobe. All these different things. We are fighting against that kind of mentality. We're fighting against Banana Republic mentality. And until that day comes in November 5th, which is the day we protest, we don't protest until then. If Trump goes to jail for 10 years, they say, we don't protest because it's a setup. It's asking for us to get in trouble. They're going to infiltrate it. Our protest is November 5th. That's on a local level and a federal level. And I will give you that until then, period.
I got to say, that comment down there, Solange Amos, I think about that all the time, right? But here's the thing. Here's my thing, right? It's like I look at the country underneath Trump's administration and I see the country now. And then I'm like, I'd rather have it like I was before. So at the end of the day, even if you think it's scripted or not, if I think it's scripted or not, or that he's a part of the whole thing, it was still better for Americans. And that's all I want. That's it. At the end of the day, that's all I want. And definitely if he gets back in office, then you already know it's back to unity. You know, which we're still on that now, but it's just a little rough. You know, it is. It's really hard to try to unite people that are now viewing this person as, you know, just a shit human being because he's a felon, which I take offense to because I myself am a felon and I'm not a shit human being. So, yeah, man, I mean, we got to get back to that place. And I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I'm looking forward to getting back to just talking positive, you know, all the good stuff. Because right now, man, this shit's tough. Let me tell you.
We're in a war. The reason why I think, you have to, and I knew it was going to happen, but you have to get a little bit off of that just kind messaging because we are in such a war of information right now. And you can't fight fire with patting it out. Like we are fighting against just, what's that?
You got to pee on it.
You got to pee on it. And you know what? I'm pissed off enough to pee. But we have the cooler heads will prevail, but you fight fire with fire, and that's an actual thing. People are like, you can't fight fire. You got to fight fire with water. No, the way that you fight fire is by creating fires. That's how forest management during fire. That's literally how it works. So don't think that's a bad statement. So anyways, that's my soapbox. Fighting against people like Tim. That's who I'm fighting against. So,
and I appreciate that. I want to just say I think you know this. I was a campaign manager in 2022 for a Washington state senator. And something we see a lot is people say, maybe you're at a political event or you meet somebody who's running locally. You've got my support, sir or ma'am. I want to see local politicians say, great. So are you going to donate or are you going to volunteer your time? Right. I'm so sick of it. I support you. And that literally only means I'm going to go vote for you on the day because there's a hell of a lot of work that goes into it. And the finances are needed and you need people on the ground doing things for you door knocking. I mean, it can be clerical. So I really want to see people being more engaged, and don't call yourself a patriot if you're literally just sitting there and voting once a frickin' every 2 years. It's pretty pitiful, actually. So I think that's important for people to think about. Local politicians, they need your money and they need your time, one or the other, right? Otherwise, shut up.
Shut your mouth.
Facts.
I got you, new killer. Kaecey, go ahead and say something. I'm going to go ahead and find the link. It is back. It just got back in the store for Dr. Artist. So go ahead.
I'm going to say something because I'm very quiet because I swore a lot last week. I was so frustrated.
Did you get yelled at?
I said enough last week at the Libertarian Party for being such idiots. Yes, I ran out of words. But overall, this in country, you guys are not wrong. We do have to fight for what we need to do, but you also can do it without putting down the people that you're going against, right? Americans all want what's best for the country, and we can all work in that direction. We don't have to be going at everybody and making it all personal when it comes to politics. We can just be having civil conversations with the people that want to have those civil conversations.
As hard as it may be. So for the person that asked about this, they just got back in. Go ahead and click that link in the chat. You should have it in YouTube, and there's usually a BFD code for 10% off, but right now it doesn't work on the Spike Protein Cleanse. I don't think they use it on that because they're always out of it. So if you want it, go ahead and get it. I still need to order Cash's.
Definitely do, bro, because I'm telling you, I'm starting to feel more and more like a Democrat as my spike proteins increase. I think that's what the shot does. I think it turns you into a Democrat unknowingly, because I find myself like when Trump comes on the TV, I get enraged sometimes. And then I caught myself wanting to go to Planned Parenthood and have an abortion, and I'm not even a woman. But then I started to think, am I a woman? I'm telling you, this Democrat stuff just is got to get the Democrat juice out of me.
That would explain your stance for the Negro Leagues earlier, being so strong and Black Power side. Yeah. Black records matter. Black records matter.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway.
Mark, so on this, easier said than done, but does that mean you give up? I don't think so, right? So
No,
we still got to move in that direction.
You just change your ideology and change your method. And, I think it requires a little tough love. Let's really quick talk about the ATF raid, and then let's go ham on that dipshit.
Your lover boy? Your lover boy?
You guys, please don't go hard on me. I do what I can. I tried to help the American people as the science. I do. Fuck him. All right. So if anybody doesn't know about this story, the ATF. So Jim Jordan was one of our congressional leaders that slams the ATF head Steve Dettelbach over a fatal Arkansas raid and a new gun dealer, the new gun dealer licensure requiremements. So for those, Kaecey should be on top of this, because the Second Amendment is actually starting to finally shift again. Like we talked, they're going to take our guns forever. Things are starting to shift in a bad way. So I want to kind of explain this story.
If you're going to say that and you're not going to bring up June 1st of 2023,
go ahead. Bring up June 1st.
That was the shift of the ATF being able to do things with that is removing constitutional rights. Does anybody know here what happened on June 1st, 2023?
The last day of May and then beginning of June.
No.
Oh, okay. Yes. I don't know the name of the part.
Where the ATF.
Okay.
Yeah. The ATF started banning the pistol grips on ARs, and they said that is illegal without any congressional approval. The ATF just made that law.
You talking about the bump stops?
Bump stocks.
No,
that was a long time. That was way before
that.
Switch.
You talking about the switch?
No, that is the bump stock. This is
talking about
where
the glizzy. In the hood, they don't use these things, man. They do. They call them glizzies, bro. You hit the glizzy. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're talking about where your gosh, what is it freaking called? The actual name of it now.
Apparently, white people don't use them either because you don't know the name of it.
No, it's where you fold the stock and you make it into a pistol. You can take an AR and it is considered a pistol, and it is creating a whole new law without any congressional approval. And no one was up in arms over
lives. I'm just kidding. They're not trying to save kids' lives. It's bullshit. It's over.
It's all ridiculous.
Ban assault rifles, bro.
No.
Oh, see what I'm saying? The spike proteins did it again.
Oh my gosh.
So this is what happened on this one. A federal magistrate judge. I find it interesting. Somebody from Arkansas said they heard the story. Federal magistrate judge on Thursday afternoon unsealed a search warrant, a supporting affidavit, and other records related to the case of Brian Malinowski, the Little Rock Airport executive director, fatally wounded in Tuesday in an exchange of gunfire with agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives. He died earlier on Thursday. He's 53 years old. Search warrant lists 2 violations that allowed ATF agents to enter Malinowski's house: dealing in firearms without a license and unlawful acquisition of a firearm. In this affidavit, it says that he purchased over 150 guns over the past 3 years, many of which he sold at gun shows or to private buyers in other settings. 6 firearms. So essentially, I want to break it down. They're essentially saying he was an arms dealer illegally, but based on the state law, it's a little bit of a gray area that he was literally buying for his own purpose and selling. He wasn't a actual gun salesman, but they're saying that he was, which allowed them to raid the house. And of course, this guy's got more guns than God knows what. Let's see, 6, and part of it was some of the firearms that passed through his hands are known to have been recovered in a commission of a crime. The affidavit says at least half of the crimes it describes are marijuana possession.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems we have in this country right now is with having cannabis. It's perfectly legal in a lot of states, and you still cannot possess firearms and cannabis, which is absolutely absurd. And the government is going to keep utilizing that to take away your guns and then charge you with a felony.
I'll tell you, in Portland here, they get robbed all the time because people know, the criminals know, they have all this money because banks won't bank them and they can't have guns.
It's
perfect
it's actually
target.
just ruled in the Supreme Court that felons actually can have weapons again. They can bear arms. You have to file a motion. You got to sit in a motion. And I guess they ruled in a case of a brother that was convicted because they're saying it's unconstitutional to take somebody's rights away for having a pistol, period.
Correct.
Period.
By the way, we brought up the bump stocks earlier. Did you guys, The Blaze did a story last week where there's video being uncovered of these shots being fired from multiple police body cams. It doesn't sound like much. It's no big deal, except for the fact that it's several minutes after Paddock was killed. Anyways, moving on. The biggest story, probably the biggest mass shooting in the last decades, still completely unsolved, and we stopped talking about it like nothing happened. But anyways, so Malinowski's family issued a statement Thursday through Bud Cummins, former U.S. Attorney, Chief Legal Counsel, Governor Mike Huckabee is acting as spokesperson for the family. We don't understand the government's decisions. They don't know why it remains unclear exactly what happened during the early morning raid. Court documents suggest Malinowski spent a lot of time buying and selling guns and likely skirted the law in regards to paperwork. That does not actually mean you should raid somebody's house. Was there any, did they ever question him? Did they ever bring him in? Did they ever call him? It's a lot of questions.
What law did he skirt?
I think it was just the quantity of guns that went through and the fact that his guns ended up, some of the guns that he sold, they said that he sold 3 guns to undercover police officers, which I don't know is that illegal if he's doing it the legal way? Like,
where in the Constitution does it say that you stop at 24 guns?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it makes absolutely no sense. The Constitution doesn't give you you're only good up to this magazine size, or you're good up to this many handguns and this many rifles.
So they're saying that when you buy them, you say that you're buying them for yourself. He purchases from single federally licensed dealer in North Little Rock to include multiples of the same gun, but then he bought 142 guns from the same dealer 2019 to 2023. I guess it's just the way that he sold them became a question. But again, it feels like it escalated quickly. And when you've got a guy that is a gun enthusiast,
right?
Why do you raid his house? Like, why is this what you go to?
Remember the guy that in Provo, Utah, that was raided by the FBI and shot and killed because he made some threatening posts on social media because Joe Biden was flying into the state?
Right.
That's what the government does. They're bullies. They don't care.
Yeah.
100%. All right.
I know. That's great. I was just going to say, my detective mind works backwards. Like, I want to know, why was he in a room that had multiple weapons in it, right? Like, how did he even get shot in the first place? Like, I just have so many questions about that. And I was doing research before coming on tonight, and that's the part that's completely left out of all these articles, right? It's all about how the ATF got in the door in the first place, but nothing about once they were in, how this unfolded, at least in my research.
So what I read here is there's been much speculation. Again, is there body cams? Like, can we see any of this stuff? There's been much speculation about whether Malinowski was aware the people at his door Tuesday morning were federal agents. The search warrant offers no indication that it was a no-knock warrant when officers storm in unannounced. Sources with law enforcement experience say officers would typically loudly announce themselves in such a situation. But according to the ATF statement Tuesday, Malinowski greeted agents with gunfire, injuring one. So there's very little ability to know what is truth behind all of this.
Because if they just stormed in, I'll tell you what, most of the people I know, if they have someone coming through their door unexpected,
click, boom.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Real quick, that's why I have issues with no-knock warrants.
Yeah,
I do too. I get some of the safety reasons, but I know the Breonna Taylor cops, so it's a tough.
I was just about to say it, the Breonna Taylor case.
But they did knock. They clearly knocked.
Potato, tomato.
But that, I think, knocking is what got them actually in trouble. So, but either way, how do you handle a situation? It's just the problem is we celebrate criminals. That's just what we do in our country. Yeah. Guys, if you like the water, Cash, go ahead and do it for me. CenturyH2O.com. Use Russo10 for 10% off.
Water so clear you can't even see it.
So good. Guys, trust me on this one. So funny enough, I just got blood work back. My magnesium and mineral levels through the roof. What do? I drink water from the Century H2O, which that's the only, I don't take supplements for magnesium. I'm a naturally positive kind of guy, but magnesium is one of the minerals that comes through. So good to know that I had incredibly high levels magnesium. So go to CenturyH2O.com with an S. Use Russo10 for 10% off. Will you plead to the audience before I do our last ad read and then get into the final topic? Cash, to like and share this video, please.
Hey, everybody. Your friend Cash here.
Hey, everybody.
I was just wondering if you could do me the solid of sharing this video out and spam the like button, for God's sakes. This is pathetic. You guys are better than this.
That was beautiful, Cash.
Okay.
Am I off screen yet?
No, not yet. I think you look good up there.
Yeah, we're gonna
love the head turn. Very dramatic.
So my buddy just sent me this photo, funny enough, who is like, we finally started talking politics. This just came through. He lives in San Francisco. And this is at one of the local movie theaters. Oh, please focus. There it is. You guys
Trump is guilty.
Trump is guilty.
This is middle of the street. Lock him up. That's San Francisco. You know what they should lock up?
Enjoy that.
Actual criminals. That might be a start.
No. They're locking everything up, right? They're locking up everything in their grocery stores. You can't even buy string cheese without having someone come and unlock it for them.
Is this the same San Francisco that's pronounced San Francisco?
Yes.
You better be in tech, otherwise why is he there?
To my people. Last ad read. Cash, can you plead with people about next Tuesday? Because apparently we're not doing it this week. We need to get a whole bunch of people so we're not wasting so much time or spending so much time, but we've got something special to share with you.
Yes, next Tuesday. If you guys are interested in buying American, supporting American-made business, American-made products, if you're interested in supporting us in this venture and locking arms with us and building this brand of American bought and sold items, well, then join us next Tuesday. Go to freedombox.com, fill out the jot form. That'll let us know that you're interested, or just type interested in the comments, and Russo is going to comb these bad boys after the show and see everybody that said interested. And then I'm going to shoot you a message and say, yo, are you for real? And then you're going to say, yeah. And then we're going to talk.
Don't pay attention to the part where it says we're doing a group Zoom after the show. If you want to learn more, we've got a recording that we'll send you beforehand, but we'll also do it next Tuesday night. Go to freedomboxinfo.com. Please do, guys. By the way, Cash, I got my director pin. Did you get your pin in the mail for being? What do you like?
I got that. I've got that one. I got that one on my wall right there. I got the Director 2 pin. Waiting on my Director 3 pin because I'm a Director 3 now. You know,
I'm not gonna lie, I could do away with the pin and just add like $4 to the check. But anyways, Just me. Kelly,
Take it to the pawn shop.
Kelly
Just kidding.
definitely made a lot of fun of me when I got my little package with my awards. So
I like mine.
You've
I
always
thought
had
it
a
was
little
touching.
package. It's okay.
No, for real, I really did. I appreciated that they took the time out to do that because
I
it
do
was
too. It's a really good
hand-signed
company.
Yes, they are. They care.
Before I go on, I have to say, and I don't know, make sure you text message who about her father today. But somebody had one of the people that are with us. Her father passed away, and
Aw.
she called to cancel the membership because it was like end of the month, last day, and there was a glitch, and it didn't go through until Tuesday. She called me kind of panicking. She's like, I can't afford it this month. Can you take care of it? And she's like, my dad just died. I'm like, let me call. When I called again, this is why I like this company so much. On top of it being American products, person I spoke to, they're the nicest customer service people on the planet. They took care of it. They called her. I don't even know what they ended up, if they rerouted them because they accidentally sent an automatic box. They actually take care of things in a great, great way. So yeah. Oh, Charles is in his
That's
feelings.
nice.
Oh my
Who's that?
goodness.
Who
Oh
is
wait.
Charles?
He talking about convicted felon. You mean to just say non-convicted or indicted felon, and then R-word daughter and a complete fraud, and then you're talking about Biden. Okay, got it. All right.
Wait, I'm confused.
What?
Who was that?
Who's
We
what?
don't know. He's on Be the Change YouTube page. I don't know who he is.
He looks like John Leguizamo. And throw
No.
that out there.
This gentleman is a white. He's a white. Okay. Let's get into Fauci because we only left 10 minutes. We'll probably go a little bit longer because God knows that was the biggest cluster F on the planet. The one thing I want to start with, because I have a whole rant that I will save until everybody gets their piece in. This was bullshit. Not the fact that Fauci was allowed to say these things. The whole thing is bullshit. He shouldn't be doing a congressional hearing. And you know what? I was listening to Stu Peters. I don't listen to Stu Peters a ton because sometimes he's a little too shock jockey for me. But he brought up a valid point. Why are we doing a congressional? Yes, Kash.
Just real quick. Charles B., I just wanted to tell you, your mother. Go ahead.
So anyways, he was what he was talking about is the fact that why are we doing a congressional hearing? All this is the ability for Marjorie Taylor Greene and many of the House Republicans to slam him audibly to make me even more mad than I was 2 days ago, make me absolutely blood boiling furious. The only thing that I could possibly see that this is worth it is that he perjured himself in front of Congress. There is evidence that he lied. This is now, if nothing comes from the fact that he flat out said that he had nothing to do with the lab leak being suppressed, when there is definite footage of him in Congress telling people it's conspiracy theory. If we don't use this to get some kind of fraud charges against Fauci, and this was all just to bring him up for theater, fuck that. Like, that was a complete waste of time. All it did was piss me off. It caused a bunch of people to get back on Fauci's back again and say, this guy was serving our country. And then a bunch of people be mad. And then a whole bunch of Republicans to talk about how great the vaccine was. However, they don't like Fauci. I'm like, what just happened? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yo,
I'll let you guys talk about it. I've got a whole
Marjorie Taylor Greene ripped his ass up, though.
Yeah. That was the best part.
She ripped. I've never seen her on fire like that. Like, she was just on it. No BS. I'm like, go ahead, Marjorie. Go do your thing, man. That's what I really love about her. Straight up.
I wish she would have dropped the doctor thing pretty quick. Like, the whole Dr. Mister, I'm like, the words that you're saying are more important than anything else. Just make the statement you don't believe is a doctor. And then when they kind of go back and forth, which she ended up winning that argument where they're like, oh, you're allowed to be an asshole to the person there. It's not worth losing the message. The soundbite isn't worth losing the message. So I would have wished she would have, once she made the first one, just let it go and then just slam the shit out of him.
She pulled up the puppies. I wanted to snap. That's all I'm saying.
I've
seen the Beatles.
Yeah, that was a good part.
I hate to, because I want everybody to have their thing, but the interesting thing about that one specific part with the Beagles is he actually answered it at the end. While his mic was kind of going out and they were going to the next question and the time was up with, I don't think it was Marjorie when she did the Beagles. It might've been somebody else. He answered it. He goes, because they talked about how you don't need to test animals anymore. And there's only with certain safety trials, yada, yada, yada. He admitted at the end that the people in his department told him that it was not inhumane. He said that. So therefore, by him saying he was told it was not inhumane or there was no other choice or whatever, he is admitting that it happened under his watch. He admitted it in that statement.
Hurtful. That's what it is. Some fucking poor dogs. He's a
flies. For those that think that Fauci's the greatest man on the planet, flies ate away and maggots ate away at the face of a living dog without pain medication. But yes, go ahead and create songs for this 5'2" vertically challenged piece of Hitler-esque garbage. But ask me how I really feel.
Charles B, I appreciate you being here, bro. You're engaging in the audience. I appreciate you for being here, even though you have a fucked up opinion and it has nothing to do with anything here. I appreciate you for being here, bro. You go for it.
I think, we didn't talk about his interview with Fox and Friends, which was his best interview of all time, Trump, in my opinion. He talked about his failures for the first time. He talked about the fact that he
had some very bad people there. I didn't know. I didn't know that they were there. Once I did, they're fired. They were gone.
No, he admitted that he didn't know the game. He admitted that he didn't fully know the game. Yeah. He said in that interview, he goes, because we talk about the fact he didn't drain the swamp the way that we wanted him to. And there's still all these people, the 17 former Trump cabinet members. He said, 17? I thought politics. I don't think it's 17.
That's Q.
I think he goes, I thought politics were like UFC is what he said. I thought that we fight. And then at the end of the fight, we hug and we all come together. That's why he didn't actually prosecute Hillary. That's why he didn't, because he knows that that's a banana republic thing to do. That's why he didn't do it. But now he said, I realized that I didn't know who the players were. I didn't know the game as well. He actually said this in an interview, which to me, that's one of the reasons why I've now full-blown MAGA at this point, which I can't believe I'm actually saying, but I am MAGA and a half because he admitted a little bit of fault. He still has his typical fun narcissism. He's an asshole. He's my asshole. And he's willing to admit that he had some work to do. He had some meat left on the bone during his first presidency.
Well, he's your asshole and he had meat left on the bone. What are you going here, bro? What are you doing?
Oh, my gosh. Well, don't you love how Fauci was like, he was getting emotional when he was talking about the negative impact on his wife and his daughters, and they're getting death threats, viable death threats. But you know what was the best was that guy sitting behind Fauci, completely mocking him with like fake crying faces. That guy went viral. I know you guys, one of you
That's my homeboy. That's my guy, Brandon.
That was amazing. If those out there have not seen it, he's sitting behind him, mocking him. But I mean, how dare he? Maybe it does truly get him emotional thinking about the impact that his horrible decisions have made on his very own family members. But that doesn't excuse the millions upon millions of people that died under his watch. And outside of that, there's one that guy. Oh my gosh, that's the best snapshot. Yeah.
Fun fact, by the way, Kaecey, we said it briefly in the beginning. Kash. So that guy was in the DC gulag with Kash. So he is a J6er. Are you calling him right now?
You already knew that. As soon as he said that's my homeboy, I was like, he's picking up that phone.
So anyways,
that was the best though. That was, oh my gosh. It's the perfect way to like lighten this heavy moment. It's like bringing humor back to it, which makes it digestible.
So I want to know how that's what I want. We were trying to get him on the show. I wanted to know how a J6er like that managed to be the one sitting behind Fauci for that. It doesn't get any more perfect.
Yeah. He's probably in an interview. He said he had a couple interviews to do. The Insider wanted to interview him.
Oh, that's funny.
That's nice.
Awesome. Yeah. No, but I'll let him tell his story of how he did it. I'm not gonna say anything, but he told me, and I thought it was hilarious. I said, "You're just the GOAT, bro. That's funny."
We'll save that. And we'll say that for him to tell. That's great. What's fun, KSOK, what you brought up was that moment where he was talking about how his family was threatened and all this stuff. Right. And he had the quote unquote crocodile tears and all this stuff. Bro, your decision-making, and you admitted that you weren't following science when you told people you were the science. You admitted yesterday that you were making decisions on the fly, but telling people it was the authoritative truth that ended up hurting families, created lockdowns that created a higher level of suicide, bad health, issues with across the board. You are worried about getting mean tweets and messages when you literally destroyed human beings' lives single-handedly as the leader. And I'm not going to say he's the tip of the spear because I think he answers to somebody, but he was the authority. So he's somewhere on that spear near the end. And Trump is not innocent of this at all. I understand that. Trump was listening to this douche nozzle.
Listen.
So, go ahead.
You got to be fair, though. I don't think that Fauci intentionally did nothing wrong here. I'm gonna be real, and I'm gonna be the devil's advocate.
I wholeheartedly.
No, I don't know. I don't think that it was. If he put it like this, I don't think he intentionally was trying to harm anybody. I mean, did he know that some of his decisions potentially could have some backfire? You know, maybe. But I don't think he intentionally was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this to fuck over everybody. I don't think
he cared. I think he's so evil that he didn't care. It was about profits. 740 million that he claims he saw nothing. Like, I'm with you. Did he go, I'm going to kill people today? I don't think so. I think his mindset was, well, I have a job to do, and the job is not to protect people. My job is to make sure that whatever the CDC says to happen, I will force it through, whatever, and I will ignore science.
Charles B said, "You numbnuts understand that this all happened under Trump." Well, fun fact,
Didn't
Charles
we
B,
just say that, you idiot?
Wait a minute, Charles B. I just want to point out that my nuts are only numb because I was under your mom.
Oh my gosh!
You missed your dad joke show this week, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh yeah, got him. I'm your daddy.
So here's the thing. I would normally be opposed to like him saying that he's getting death threats and all of those things. Normally I would be like, guys, that's unnecessary. None of that needs to be happening. But when you start going after Judge Kavanaugh through all of his stuff, you have what's her face Waters going out during the BLM protests saying we need to get louder and bigger.
Get in their faces.
They are making this to where it's a bigger deal. And so now I really don't care because they have ripped the gloves off and said they wanted it. And so that is what they're going to get.
I'm going to go with A. I'm going to go with A, Charles.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to go with B. I think Trump was naive.
I was going to say naive.
Yeah.
I think he was naive.
I'm going to say A and B. He was stupid to even think that them Democrats was going to help him in any kind of way or do anything positive.
But there were so many different things. And I want to say, I took some notes on some of the things that were absolutely ridiculous. So he made a statement. He made a couple things where my blood started to boil, saying that podcasters should not be trusted and blamed, which is ironic because everything he said in his thing was he admitted that he was wrong in many levels, which when he admitted he was wrong, he was actually saying that the podcasters that he's demonizing were actually right from day one. That's the same thing that we heard in the Dave Smith Cuomo interview. Same exact thing. And then he goes on to say he still blames the unvaccinated for 200,000 to 300,000 excess deaths. There is not a shred of information that actually corroborates the science's information on that whatsoever. He mentioned Peter Hotez as a reference, yet this man won't do a live debate no matter how much money is thrown at him with RFK, a guy that can barely get his words out because of his throat injury, and he still won't debate this guy. He slammed the Great Barrington Declaration, which is hilarious because all of the information from the Barrington Declaration has been proven and peer-reviewed to actually be truth. Most of those doctors have had trouble keeping their licenses. Why? Because they went against the norm. Democrats were saying that at one point said it was Trump's fault about the response to the actual coronavirus response from January through March, which is hilarious because they were slamming him for being racist for closing the borders. It couldn't have been any more ridiculous.
Said xenophobic.
What did I say? Xenophobic. You're right. My bad. Which Fauci did answer. It was not xenophobic. Go ahead,
Didn't
Kaecey.
they say in the same place just shortly after, it was put up to the states. It wasn't federal. The states decided. So if you're going to blame Donald Trump in one breath and then turn around and say the states decided it wasn't federal oversight, you are being a hypocrite.
Right.
Yeah, if you get struck by lightning, that was called COVID. That's just the way it went.
There was something else during the Dave Smith interview, and it was kind of highlighted a little bit during Fauci's thing when it was Dave Smith and Cuomo. They talked about the fact they were using this, and I want to talk about that. When they're talking, they keep saying, Cuomo, Fauci, the unvaccinated still had a higher amount of deaths. Of course they did. There was no vaccine for the first year. So all of the deaths in the first year, when we were not using therapeutics and not using, and using remdesivir and using ventilators, were all on unvaccinated people. So the numbers will be skewed to more deaths for unvaccinated. Of course, you flipping morons. Like, and that was one thing I couldn't believe Dave Smith didn't actually counter him with. I was waiting for that, and he missed that one opportunity. That was the only opportunity he missed. Go ahead, Kash.
Crackheads didn't die of COVID. I don't know what it is about crackheads, but they are just like they won't die, bro. Like, for real. Something's in the crack, because they was breathing just fine. I mean, they were still carrying refrigerators on their back with one arm down the street. It was all tight. COVID couldn't get to them. So maybe we need to legalize drugs.
Hey, I live in a city where they did.
Yeah, Oregon and Washington just did that.
I can tell you, though, they have gone back on it, and it's going to be illegal again very soon here.
Yeah, I wonder why.
We're going to create all these addicts and all of these problems, and then now we're going to be like, okay, just kidding, we're taking it away.
Worried about the price of gas.
I thought.
Come on, Charles, stop it. Stop it.
That's really Charles's picture. You're too good looking to be a Democrat. I mean,
that's not his real picture. He's
I know.
a fucking miniature troll that lives in his parents' basement.
I think that guy is definitely
He is probably morbidly obese, has a breathing problem, not because of COVID, lives in his mother's basement, eats a whole bunch of snacks that he does not buy, and has all the time in the world to troll people's lives.
You know, he might be a high figure 7 worth. He probably follows Roaring Kitty. He made his money off of GME and AMC.
No. Hey, what's wrong with following Roaring Kitty?
There's nothing wrong with it. Brilliant, but he didn't earn it.
This dumbass wouldn't know what to do with 7 figures. He's just sitting in our comments because he doesn't know what he's doing.
He would know what to do with 7 inches, though. I could tell you that. And it wouldn't be on his situation. It looks
like that's what's happening in his picture. That face he's making, his eyes all scrunched up, and he's leaned over a little bit. Looks like it's about 7 inches happening right now in that picture. Yep.
Yeah. So, and first off, we could play around, but when you come for our girl, when you come for Barbara, and you come for disabled people as well. My father was disabled. You're actually just a human piece of garbage. So you're going to get a little bit of the wrath. Fact is, you're a waste of human space. And honestly, I don't care what happens to you if you walk in front of a bus. Truth. All right.
So let's address that comment. Why doesn't anybody watch our shows? Because you're watching on a platform that silences us because we have a difference of opinion.
We're on a bunch of different.
If you go over to X, you'll see more viewers, you idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were doing the show the other night, we had 600 people watching. So suck a bag of dicks. And
which it doesn't really matter. We do this for fun to get people like you to come here so we can talk shit about you. How about that?
Which, by the way, thanks for the view.
That. I'm loving this.
I think it's so important because if people actually took a look and they can see we're laughing, we're having a good time, we're not triggered. It's just incorporating comments into the conversation. It's a good old time. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's very healthy, actually.
Yeah,
so
I love interacting.
It's that if you were to go and block every single person that disagreed with you, that would be a problem, right? There's some that are. Yeah, exactly. So this is healthy, and I don't see that as a negative at all to incorporate comments. That's the whole point.
I have blocked, I think, 4 or 5 people, 5 or 6 accounts over 4 years, and I think that 3 of them were the same person. I
don't block none of them. I love it. I've been missing talking crazy to these dudes. I ain't gonna lie. You see, I'm kind of letting loose a little bit more today. I'm like this close. I'm waiting for him to say something stupid. Talk about shut your bitch. Haven't gotten there yet.
That just answered my question. That's so, as I said, I've blocked like 5 or 6 accounts, and I believe 3 of them were the same person. And thank you for letting me know who you are. This will be your last show. Congratulations. Bye, what a guy. And
dang, you're popular with this guy.
Oh, that's funny.
You are popular with him. If he's creating an account specifically for you, you have done something to him, bro. You banged his girlfriend or something.
No, he's gay. I think it's Shane. Shane is the guy that told me
about your daughter. I remember.
Yes. So I think that he's been the one. So I will say something intelligent. You're a piece of shit. That's the smartest thing I could say. Okay. All right. Waz literally just shared us. All the people on X are coming over going, what the hell is happening right now?
I'm gonna tell you what's happening. Got some bitch ass niggas in the comment section that keep on running their mouths and expecting shit to just go sweet because, I've been nice since I've been back, but fuck y'all. That's how I feel. If you don't like the show, don't watch it, bitch ass boy. How about that? Go watch something else. Go watch what. Oh, I almost got us blocked. I almost said the F word. I'm not gonna do that to y'all.
I say the F word.
It was Pride Month. I would definitely get blocked.
Oh, you were gonna say that
F word.
Yeah,
Pride.
can't say that. Can't say that F word.
Yeah,
Welcome to America. Can't say certain words. Okay. The last thing I want to say is there was also recorded video played of Dr. Fauci. Back to the main topic here. In the recorded call, and this is where, again, this was theater. There's nothing that comes of a congressional hearing unless they actually arrest and persecute this man that deserves to be tried on every crime against humanity known to mankind. He said in the recorded call, in order to get them to take the vaccine, which his people, whether he says he didn't receive any or not, received $710 million in royalties based on the vaccine. He said we have to, and he kept saying, it's the same with Mario Cuomo in New York. We didn't force them to mask. It was that we suggested it and they just did it. You took away livelihoods. You took away jobs. You forced vaccine passports. Fauci led this response across the country. Yes, under Trump and in some way. Well, no, the vaccine was all under Biden. Vaccine was all under Biden in terms of the mandates. So he said in the recall, if you take away, there has to be something done where you take away their livelihoods. And they cut the bullshit at that point. He literally said this in a recording that they played in the congressional hearing, and there's still people that on the left, in the Democrats in Congress, the Democrats sitting at home are literally just doing what they can to think
I wasn't expecting that
is still daddy.
Oh my gosh.
I was sitting in my living room just wanting to just
that was
lose
really
my
good. I
mind.
agree.
So I want to point out, all of a sudden we have Jayhawk in the comments after the other fool's gone.
I think Jay's defending us and talking about the bitch asses that's in the comments.
I think Jay is Tim. What a guy.
Yes.
Nah, Jay's cool with me though.
That's a lot of profiles to manage.
No. Shane does that.
Yep.
Nah, not Jay. Jay, you're not that guy, are you? Don't be that
Jay
guy.
Hawk actually means Jay Cock. Got it. Okay.
Gosh.
Not Jay, man. I like when he's in the comments, bro. He don't be doing what the other guy was doing.
We'll see. We'll see where he goes.
We'll give it one more show and you'll see it.
So my dog hates when I say the F word, so that's why she literally gets all excited. Okay. All right. Well, what was really good? Anyways,
when you did the
I mean,
he has a lot of practice.
It was very accurate. The sound effects were good. Just
why do you think Kash still hasn't gotten married yet? KSOK's talking about when she was 23 to the criminal that supposedly she was the brother of. That's what happened.
Yeah, allegedly.
Whoa, this is great. This is going off the rails.
Gosh.
I miss these shows, y'all. I really do.
So you know who else we need to get on as well is it not Patriot Barbie? I love her too, but conservative Barbie. She's been doing a lot of great content lately. She wasn't making as much content for a while, but she's done some really good stuff. So we might want to get her.
You're conservative?
Is that the one that talks from her car?
Yes,
time?
the blonde hairdresser.
Okay.
Yeah, she's funny. We used to share content back in the day, so we got to get her on. We got to get. Here's the thing: we got to get as many people on as possible on this show, be on their stuff. That's what's going to happen over the next 5 months because you have to go viral. You have to do a whole bunch of fun stuff.
More intersecting podcasts with people. We need to jump over on other people's podcasts and have them come on ours and just branch out, bro.
How about you guys come over to X and get on Spaces with me?
That sounds.
I want somebody to come on Pilled with me and do some crazy shit. Let's just talk crazy.
So that's a real question. So we're thinking about moving the show over to Pilled. And what it would be is we would do the first 10 minutes on this platform. It doesn't mean we'd leave the platform because the reason why it's hard for me to say that is I think it's important to be in front of everybody.
Right.
We need to be in front of the idiots like Charles. We have to be in front of all these different people. But at the same time, it provides a great place for people to come watch. I've learned there's a purpose for an echo chamber. as much as I dislike that term, there's a purpose for an echo chamber because we like to educate our viewers. And I'm sure what's his face over there Charles would say, well, you're educating them with ignorance and stupidity. I would respect.
Oh, butthole was an echo chamber because it's so wide.
Wait, yours is or Charles is?
Oh my God.
Are we talking post?
Charles, bro. That was good.
A 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom butthole.
Oh my
That
God.
was good. Oh, man.
Or
Oh,
double wide,
sorry,
depending
brother.
on where you
That
live.
was funny, brother. That was good.
Anyways, but anything else more on Fauci? I
Gaping
mean,
hole.
that whole Fauci thing was.
Fauci belongs in jail.
So do you? I mean,
Yeah.
were you happy that the congressional hearing happened? Like, was that good for you? Was that? I mean,
I
what do you
love
think?
watching those these days because it's like an episode of Jerry Springer. So I love it.
I like to watch him sweat personally. I do think it's a waste of taxpayer dollars in a sense, though, because I just don't feel like anything's going to happen.
So is
Any of
his
those folks.
security. He admitted that he needed Secret Service. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so you've costed your forced vaccine. Somebody commented earlier about the AIDS thing, and I wanted to bring that back up. It's ironic that the leftist politicians mentioned how he has been a public servant since the 80s, serving our country. First off, he is the highest paid public servant in office before he retired. I think he was over $500,000. I know that's not a fortune, but we're all gonna ignore the fact that we think he got back end money and not the same way that Charles gets back end anything. But we're going to ignore that. Let's just talk about the $500,000. And they say public servant all the way back to the 80s. For anybody that is so ignorant, and apparently those politicians, those Democrats in office, and including the Republicans, they were bad too. Although they were against some of his motives and stuff, they were just touting the vaccine like it was the savior of all, which no bit of data says that anymore. In the 80s, his forcing of AIDS drugs killed gay people left and right, and it was all a pharmaceutical play. It's been shown that his decisions did not follow science, and it killed people. It killed gay people during the AIDS epidemic, and now he's the poster child. He has not done anything good his whole time.
You're not going to do that to Fauci.
Wait, one more thing. Remdesivir. Riddle me how remdesivir ever became the drug for COVID. Remdesivir was shown, and this is like, I don't know how many times you have to beat this up against a tree. Remdesivir, they did trials with it in Ebola. There was no reason why it looked like it would be the right antiviral or anticoagulant. There would be nothing that made sense per se, except for it was a similar structure to things like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Like it would maybe in early stages as a therapeutic, it could have worked, but no, it's incredibly high price. It was tested on Ebola patients. It was pulled from the Ebola trials because it was the only drug that killed more people than Ebola out of the ones they were testing. And that's the decision that he made. He brought it to the States that I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you what other doctors and research showed. You've got a drug that floods the lungs, and then you put a ventilator on them that makes the lungs stop working. And this was the direction of what was the head of science in our country. And how this man has not been tried on crimes against humanity, I don't know.
Okay, two things. Number one, you're not going to sit here and blame Anthony Fauci for people that live alternate lifestyles for getting AIDS. Okay, they got AIDS because they were having butt sex. Okay, that's number one. Number two, have you ever noticed how all the AIDS commercials now have LGBTQ plus people in them? You ever noticed that? That's off the point.
I thought it was not a pandemic of LGBTQ.
No, you're right. I have seen. That's wild. All the commercials. I'm like, wow, they're really just putting it out there.
Take PrEP.
Literally.
Yeah.
It used to be you couldn't do that. It's like
right.
Now every commercial they say, do you have AIDS? Well, you need to get this drug. And then it's got two guys just kissing, and then it's got the trans guy and the trans girl, and then everybody's just, there's no regular, heterosexual people in the commercials.
That whole PrEP thing is mind-boggling too. Like that's to me like part of the ruination of the society. I don't think having an STD means it's the end of your life. I think we should have treatments for it. But that commercial is literally celebrating, saying, "Take PrEP just in case it works." Kind of. You might still give it. And go ahead, KSOK. I've
Well,
got an interesting story.
just remaining undetected, that concerns me that people think, oh, undetected, now I can just, I can go out and have unprotected sex, right? Because I'm under this threshold. So it gives them this false sense of security. It's just going to keep spreading amongst people.
So I'm going to tell you something interesting. This was a story that somebody told me about a mutual. I'm going to step back, but I'm going to tell the story as if I know who somebody is. And there are these parties. They're called AIDS parties. This is real.
Oh yeah, I remember this. They all sleep with each other, and the one person got AIDS, and you don't know who it is.
No. You go to the, so there are these communities. And again, I am, as a conservative, one of the more pro-gay conservatives you'll ever find. I don't care what you do behind closed doors. I don't care, period. But this just is that whole like fall of Rome mentality where degeneracy has taken over the building and it's celebrated. The whole month of Pride, 150 days in the calendar are dedicated to some kind of sexual immorality that swings to that side. So they have these AIDS parties where it's an elite group of people that all have AIDS, and you go there and if you don't have it yet, you get welcomed into the group by being part of group sex, catching AIDS. This is, and I know, I'm sure the left wingers are going to be like, oh, yeah, Diddy parties, exactly. The left wingers in the chat are probably like, this guy's full of shit. I heard this from somebody that had been to and invited to these parties, did not actually have sex at the party, decided it was a bad idea. I heard this.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Well,
Well,
but honestly, it messed with his head. He's like, do I do this? Do I just become part of this group? Because once you have it, you treat it with PrEP. It's not like the 80s and 90s when you're taking Fauci's medication that kills people. You could live a whole life with AIDS and HIV now. It doesn't matter. So you go to these, well, you can live with HIV, whatever. I don't know. It's an HIV party. So they would go to them, and literally you'd be welcomed into the group by catching HIV from these other people and having unprotected sex. That is a real thing and part of the community. And I can tell you, I know a lot of gay Republicans, gay conservatives that are amazing people. And they think this is the most disgusting, ridiculous thing on the planet. So this is that far left, ultra gay thing that goes on that is literally like, it's disgusting. It's awful. Awful.
So
wow.
do they give you anything other than HIV? I mean, did they get some money or something, or what?
Champagne, probably. Yeah.
And then the taxpayers pay for the medications.
Right.
That's crazy, bro.
So when are we going to have monkeypox parties?
They tried that one and failed.
They have those in DC all the time.
Oh god.
Oh, and that, like, when I heard this, I'm like, you can't, you're not being serious. Like, but it's an actual thing. And I was going to do a whole comedy bit on there's a whole alphabet of animals that are like different descriptions of gay, which that to me is actually quite funny. I learned like, we know the bear and we know the, all the different, but there's an animal for everything apparently. And I was all about that conversation. That would be
really funny, especially all the flags. I didn't know there were so many descriptions with the animals. I would find that quite humorous myself.
Part of the reason we have such a decent audience right now, I got 410 people watching. I want to give a shout out to Waz. So this is what needs to happen. Yeah, Waz is awesome. This is what needs to happen in the next couple months as we fight into the dying of the light, and to the people that actually think Trump is going to lose. Follow Waz. What is it? According to Waz, so what he does is he shares conservative platforms and says, follow this person. You follow each other back and forth. And that allows us to beat the algorithm, because when you have enough followers, your stuff starts to get seen more. And we are literally fighting against what is social media that is against us. So I think it's important.
I got over 9,000 people on X now.
Do you really?
Awesome.
Yeah. You have also over 9,000 X's as well. That's ironic.
Not true. Not true. That is not true.
Oh my
I have
goodness.
maybe 4 or 5 X's.
You want to have proof that the algorithm is against us. So Chad Prather's got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers. He does a show with Sarah Gonzalez on Friday nights. And I know he puts it on a bunch of different platforms, but he puts it on Facebook. And last night I was one of 2 people watching live at that time. That's
wow.
Chad Prather and Sarah Gonzalez. And I was one of 2 people watching. And I know that they got more views afterwards and stuff like that, but that shows the level of algorithmic squish that we are.
I already know how that works. I, for one, felt the sting of the algorithm.
Oh yeah.
It's because I'm black.
Did you end up talking to David Williams, by the way, today?
Don't know who that is.
The one that you said, "Hey, bro, what's up?" in the group
No,
text.
he never texted back.
Okay. All right. I got to make sure you guys get set up. So he's doing something for Flag Day where he's driving around New York with a whole bunch of billboards with the American flag, and he's going to do a little speaking and stuff. And I said, Kash, if we can get Kash
What
out
color
there,
is he?
he's white.
Okay, good. I only say that because I think it's messed up when you try to hook me up with your black friends, is so we can be friends. As if all your black friends got to be my black friends. I have black friends. I don't need your black friends.
Oh, God.
I don't know why that was so funny, but it's hilarious.
I bet that really does happen, though. That's why I find it funny. You know, they're like, oh, yeah, you're going to get along with so and so.
Hey, have you met Taekwon? No, who the fuck is Taekwon? Oh, he's this great friend of mine. I think that you guys would really get along. Why would you think that? Well, we don't have anything in common. I've been to prison. I'm a felon. I got 9 kids. I got 4 baby mamas. I like different shit. What does he do? No, he's very white collar.
DeAndre has the same beliefs.
But you guys are both black.
Do you know who Joseph Matthews is? He's talking shit.
That's my cousin. That's my big cousin.
He only has 4, by the way. But Kash, no, for real, I know a black guy that you need to meet. Super great guy, articulate. He was the 44th president of the country.
Barack. I like him. He's the first clean, articulate black man I've ever met.
Oh, my Lanta. I'm just thinking, I'm having wet dreams right now thinking about Joe Rogan and Trump doing a podcast. I don't know why that popped back into my head. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I know a guy that also likes fried chicken, Kash.
I don't like fried chicken. I'm actually a vegetarian.
Are you back to being vegetarian?
Almost.
You know, last thing that I'm going to waste our time with, because we're kind of way off the rails. I got my blood work done by the Life Force, the Tony Robbins thing. Guess what?
We know you got the HIVs.
I'm 41 years old. Guess what? Even though I've got a little belly. Guess what my metabolic age is based on my blood work?
70.
I was going to say 72.
70.
32.
32 is correct. That is the correct
No
answer.
way.
32 years old is my metabolic age.
That's
Guess
amazing.
what mine was when I was in prison.
Well, you're black, so you automatically lose a decade. So I'm assuming 47.
Nope. 29.
Why? So I'm how many years older than you? And I'm actually better. But I'm better at everything. But
You're really not.
So wait. So what were they doing in prison, in J6 prison, where they're like, we're gonna test these?
J6 prison, fool. I was in real prison.
Okay.
No help over in DC.
Did they do metabolic panels in prison?
Oh yeah.
Why are they doing a metabolic panel?
Seriously?
They got to make sure they keep you alive, especially if you got life. They don't want to lose that money.
They don't even want to do that for people with full-blown insurance. I have to like beg my doctors for a metabolic workup.
They do everything. They check your cholesterol. They see how many blood cells is fucked up. They do it all there.
Serious?
Yeah, but if you get stabbed, you're just getting a Band-Aid. That's the crazy part. We want to make sure that everything is good within you, but if something happens on your exterior, go fuck yourself.
Well, now you know how the military is treated.
100%.
Oh, right.
Well, or they spend their tax dollars on making the Instagram post with the multicolored marine LGBT,
or with the backwards scope and don't.
Oh, they do that in prison too. No help. But you want some titties? Come on, we got some hormones for you.
Oh man.
You don't listen. We have Suboxone. You don't have to use that needle. You don't. But you're going to use the needle anyway, right? There's people that get Suboxone in their stomach because they got sick of people taking it and selling it. You know, so they put it in their stomach in this thing and they inject it, right? These hype ass dudes in prison were taking it and squeezing it out of their stomach into the thing so people can shoot it up with it. It's insane. They'll give you all the drugs in the world, all of that. It's crazy. Prison.
I have to tell you guys, I feel like I got an age spot situation going over here, and I went to 3 different dermatologists.
Where is it?
Just like right, it's there. And I went to my 3 different dermatologists within the place I go, to try to get somebody to say, yes, we'll remove it, right? So the third one, she's like, yeah, okay, I'm not supposed to because it's obviously not a cancer situation. And I said, literally, you guys would make me a penis out of my forearm skin quicker than you're going to just remove a freaking age spot. I mean, like, and she was like kind of horrified that I said that. But I mean, it's the truth. I could get an abortion easier than a mole removal. I could get a penis made out of my forearm. I mean, seriously, this is like legit. So, wow. Thought
I
I'd
feel
share
you.
that.
On that
Can you
note,
imagine
before
how
we
big
hop off
Cash's
here,
clitoris would be? Go ahead, Cash. Go ahead.
that'd be really big because it's just Johnson hangs low. But no,
Oh,
but check it out
Old
though.
mud
I'm gonna
flaps.
make this real. I'm gonna create this reel, right? And it's gonna have Shania Twain's music in the background. It's going, man, I feel like a woman, and it goes dun dun dun. I'm gonna have all different transgender men, you know, and it's gonna go with the beat. It's gonna switch the picture, and then it's gonna just cut to I feel like a woman. It's gonna be the transgender. All you know, you'll see. You'll see. I'm
So
working on
Cash,
it.
if anybody's just joining, Cash is doing a daily for Pride Month, a daily LGBTQ XYZ LMNOP post.
Yes, because I support your rights to not be right.
So let's
And I'm
end the
not
show
talking
how we
about people
started.
that are trans and gay. I'm talking about the ones that go in the street dressed up all provocatively with their Johnson hanging out, even though he shouldn't have one because you're a woman, but you have one and it's going to be hanging out. So I'm going to create a whole bunch of reels every day this month to support you in your transition of, you know, pride and
I
stuff.
will never look at roast beef the same.
Yes.
I'm having so much fun watching the comments. So
Yeah.
if I'm distracted, that's why.
I'm just
If
saying.
you're wondering where Charles went, his mom called him up for dinner, and that's what
Actually,
happened.
one of your amazing followers asked him to leave, and he did.
Really?
that's what's up.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I was watching it.
That's all we needed to do is
I
ask him
haven't
to
missed-
leave.
Yeah,
Oh,
said
okay.
leave him alone, and he did.
He's
Which
been gone
platform? They're
You
going to be
gotta
on all
watch- yeah.
platforms. Those reels are going to be on all platforms.
It's gonna be amazing.
What was so let's end it with that. We'll talk about the whole pride parades that we're seeing. Like Cash,
Mark.
make sure you check out his post. It's up on Truth Will Save for USA. It's also on Cash Lee. What's your Instagram right now? The Cash Kelly.
The Kash Lee Kelly.
The Cash Lee Kelly. So there, I mean, this is why it's like this isn't normal, guys. Like this isn't okay. Like there are men wearing just underwear.
You just misgendered them.
No, that
He
guy
was
was a
a-
man, I think.
No, he was a woman.
He was a
Bruh.
woman.
He
I
was
don't
a woman.
I don't know. I think he was being because he had his top off. So if he was a woman, he'd be trying to cover the top.
She-male.
Whatever it was.
No, you
it
can
was
wear
a-
your boobs out now when you walk in the streets. You're allowed to. It's like they had a whole thing. Remember band the nipple? That whole thing. You can walk around with your titties out now, which I encourage that from all real women. You can do that.
Wait,
That is
okay.
okay.
Can I have 2 seconds? I have to share
course.
something. Because if people think like that kids seeing this, like it doesn't matter. There's a gal that follows me on my Instagram and she's a realtor and she's a patriot. And I followed her back and she has massive, massive breast implants. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about. It's someone, the realtor. And nice gal, but they are, I'm talking like massive. So I was
Whoa.
scrolling and my kids were by me and they have brought that up because they're like, what? They have brought that up to me like 3 times. Like, how does someone live like that? Like it was so mind blowing to see that. And so for kids to see at a pride parade, like just the nudity and just something so odd, right? That's just unexpected like that will stick with them.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll make
I
something.
was just joking. I don't think women should walk around in the streets with their titties out. I was just joking about that. But I'm just gonna say she probably gets a lot of free drinks. She wouldn't get one from me though, and the reason being is because I don't really care about big boobs. I like a small waist with a nice ass. You know, that's what I like. Shout out Champagne. Coke
I
bottle.
was waiting for it.
Oh, I have to tell you, Kathleen French is the one who said, she said, hey, Charles, leave these people. People matter. I think she missed a word. But anyways, he did. He left right after that.
Kathleen. I mean, it's very. I love that you said that, but it's very fitting that he would take orders from a woman. I'm having too much fun, and we've got almost 550 people watching. The Caitlin Clark situation is very interesting to me. You've got a woman that's getting abused by other players because they're jealous of her. Little do they know the only reason they might actually make any money in the future is the popularity that she has included with that brought. With that said, nobody cares anymore because she's not doing very well. And the league went from the first 2 games having the best viewership in history back to normal. So at this point, it's being funded by the NBA again.
Who the hell is that?
Caitlin Clark. Well, you wouldn't know because she's a white woman, and I know that you're racist. But she is a now WNBA player that just so happens to be white, 6 feet tall, not 6'5", and straight.
First off, all my baby mamas are some form of white. Okay, number one. Number two, don't you ever say something like that on here again. Okay.
What I
My
say?
mother's a white woman.
What'd I say?
You said I don't like white women. I love you, Mom. If you're watching this,
Oh, I
tell
did say that.
Russo to shut his mouth.
You don't like white women that you are.
I don't like white women that act black.
Ah, I got it.
I like the perky,
any white person in the NBA.
I was just gonna say that.
WNBA. Got it.
No, they don't act like that. I ain't got no ratchet. Well, I got one. She's not ratchet no more, but she used to be.
Careful, she might be watching. KSOK, what do you, as a woman on the panel?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
This is, I'm somebody that I can kind of go with, like, can we have a Tulsi Gabbard as a VP? Like, can we have a female president someday? I don't know. I can consider it. Watching how they're handling the WNBA and like just the cattiness and jealousy and just inability to realize what's better for the. I mean, you could play her hard, but they're literally like destroying this poor woman. That kind of shows me the leadership on women. It's just, and I hate to, I don't want to judge the whole lot, but that doesn't bode well for women's rights.
Right, right. So I'll tell you that I don't want to reverse the ability for women to vote, but once women started voting, we saw a dramatic change in who was elected, right? And so I feel that I don't personally want a female president, and even a vice president is questionable for me because as a woman, I know women very well, and they are running on emotion versus the logic. And that's just our inherent nature. Now, some more than others, obviously. I always say I'm half man brain just because I can see things very balanced. But the natural reaction that I'm going to have to things is going to be a little more emotional than a man generally. So I mean, it's the truth hurts, but I definitely, it's concerning for me.
I don't ever want to see a woman president ever in this country. If that happens, I'm not going to even call this America anymore. I'm going to call it. I won't even.
Yeah, you're going to repeal the 19th?
No, not repeal the 19th. I'm just saying, a woman ain't ever going to lead me. That's all I'm saying. I don't give a damn. I don't care. I don't care. You call me whatever you want. Chauvinist. I ain't even listening to my mama growing up. I'm not taking orders from a woman ever. Unless it's like, I'm making this.
This is black privilege right here. First off, I know you're not serious, but can you imagine a straight white male saying what you just, even if you're kidding, like if I were to say that, I would be clipped. That would be the reason why I could never have a steady job, is what you just said as a black man. This is very unfair, to your argument that the Negro Leagues records should be integrated into the major league. I'm not going to lie. You're flirting a very democratic thin line right now, Kash.
Democrats will bow down to women. What are you talking about? That's all they want to do is put women up on a pedestal. They promote this shit. Not me. I'm a chauvinist, misogynistic, toxic, masculine, white Christian national. Okay? So
I think Kristen's like, is he actually being serious right now?
No, I didn't know, but then I was also watching comments over here, just seeing reactions. It's interesting though, because I like, what is he saying? I take orders from a woman and I'm married. I don't like sleeping on the couch.
I like couches.
That's funny. I have to tell you guys. So like my husband and I, we've been married 17 years. And until these last 3-4 years during the pandemic, I'm home now. What's changed is I used to try to be 50-50 with him, right? I had this masculine armor. I was in the corporate world, and our marriage was not anywhere close to where it is today because I ditched my masculine armor, and he is the, 51 and I'm the 49, right? And it's working so much better. I just feel that women need to, and it's actually biblical. We need to look to men for that ultimate leadership position.
Kaecey, can you write that in a book? I think that is a brilliant book written by a woman. Call it 51-49 rule.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's fantastic.
That's like the way I've lived my life. So that would be pretty,
It's great. The tiebreaker goes to the man. But for the most part, there's, when there is that occasional where you just can't come to a term, you have to follow the man. I like that idea.
Right.
For the most part, it's open. Go ahead, Kash.
I was being funny but serious at the same time. It's a little bit of both. I don't mean all the extreme things that I say. Because Champagne will come in here right now and be like, man, you better shut the fuck up. And I'll be like, my bad. All right. Can I just finish the show? Could I just finish the show real quick, please? You know what I'm saying? So it's not all the way like that. I'm just saying, though, if a woman became the president, it's all out war. War is going to break loose, and it's going to happen at the same time every month. You're going to have a problem with another woman that's in power. And I'm like, that bitch wore the same dress as me to the UN meeting. I'm not having this shit. And it'll just be all bad. It'll be all bad. She'll be indecisive. I'm going to sign the bill. I'm not going to sign the bill. I'm going to sign the bill. I'm not going to sign the bill. Where are we going to have the State of the Union address this year? I don't want to have it there. Let's go over here. It'll be all types of different stuff. We just couldn't do it.
You know, I have to tell you guys, I've heard people say they want Marjorie Taylor Greene as their president, right?
No.
Things like
No.
that. There was a video I saw of her, and I love a lot of what she does, but it was a very female response. So there's a reporter walking with her, and she's really close to her, and MTG is kicking her heels, kicking the reporter's heels, so she would trip. And then the reporter's like, what are you doing? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing anything. And I was like, ew, like I hated every second of that. And so I see that, and that's a huge reason. I see that behavior just in life in general coming from women a lot more than men.
We're talking about this. This made me think of what's happening in Mexico right now. I don't know if you paid attention, but the Biden administration was very closely following the Mexican presidential race, and it went to an ultra left female that won on a Democratic election.
She the one that came out holding the pride flag and hosting a little thing for all the people saying that they support, that they are welcoming and supportive of all LGBTQ community and all of that, because I've seen that today. I'm saving that one. That's going to be another one that I'm putting in a clip.
I believe it could be her. I don't know, but
and then right after that, it's going to be the El Chapo or somebody chopping somebody's head off that's wearing rainbows. It's going to be. I got you. Don't worry. It's going to get real interesting over the next 30 days or so.
Your creative juices are flowing.
I believe as though that it was an installed. There she is.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I believe as though that it was an install. She was an installed puppet. Based
how
on
long
her
until
beliefs.
she becomes Saddam? That's what I want to know.
It's also a very macho country. I hate to bring this up into it. How did Mexico?
It's a nacho country.
You know what country Mexico is? It's nacho country.
Oh my god,
Mexico is. I cannot imagine that country voting for a woman.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Did you see one of a female mayor, I believe, in Mexico was killed today?
Oh, it's been the last 2 months that when they've been doing their elections, there's been more bloodshed. There's a lot of bloodshed always based on elections, sheriff appointments, all of that stuff. But the last 2 months has been absolutely insane. Yet there's going to be an ultra left female that becomes president.
Just wait. She's going to end up becoming Griselda. Y'all thinking she's going to be controlled by the United States. No, she's going to be like, you don't tell me what the fuck to do, okay? And she's going to end up having all the cartel underneath her, and she's going to run all the cocaine. She's going to run all the fentanyl, everything.
What's her name? They were hilarious last night on the 5 or whatever the late night show is. She's Jewish, and they're like, oh, she's of the Tijuana. What's her last name?
Shine Bomb.
Yeah. She's of the Tijuana Shine Bombs. Okay, got it. Like, it's interesting that. So you're saying a Mexican population decided to vote for a Jewish female?
No.
Yeah, I didn't know the Jewish piece.
She's Jewish?
Shine Bomb.
I had no idea.
Mazel tov. Welcome to Mexico. I mean, it's a joke. We live in a clown show.
Just to paint the picture for you, she has pictures with the CEO of BlackRock. That tells you how she got her position.
Cash, don't do it. I see BlackRock. He's going to make a balls joke. Black and all right. I'm going to say one last thing, and then we're going to wrap up, guys. Tomorrow night we've had a lot of fun on my speaking classes, the workshop. It's free. All you got to do, if you think that I'm a halfway decent speaker and I coach this shit, if you want to get better at it, please go to doubledownspeaking.com. Whether you want to speak on a stage, share your story, or literally just get better at interpersonal communication, use your podcasting ability for business, social media, come to doubledownspeaking.com tomorrow at 6 p.m. Just go to there, fill it out. It's free, and I will see you on the workshop. And then lastly, for my end, Kaecey, can you pull up the picture of the t-shirt one more time? Johnny on the spot. A reminder, we've got these badass t-shirts. KSOK even shared our information as well.
Yeah.
If you would like to get the Proud to Vote for a Felon Trump 2024, we would love to have it. Where is the actual? There it is. Just go to wakenotwokestore.com. Use truth for 20% off. Thank you again to Waz for sharing this as well. wakenotwokestore.com. Use truth for 20% off. That's my final words. What do you guys got? Let's have Kash wrap it up. So Kaecey, you're up.
Don't trust the government. And if you want to question anything about the presidential election in Mexico, wonder why the 37 people running against her were all assassinated.
Boom.
Pew.
All right.
KSOK.
All right. Sounds good. All right. One, if you haven't already, please subscribe. The Dirty Side of Leadership podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. We're ranked top 5% in the world in our area. Pretty awesome. We're in 62 countries. So clearly people are liking our message. And we are a non-woke business leadership podcast, which is very refreshing. And I bet we're one of the only ones out there. So it's been incredible. If you want to follow me on social, I'm very active on Instagram and Facebook. My handle's right there. KSOK.lower48 on Insta. KSOK uncensored everywhere else.
She's very active. She goes to the HIV parties.
I've been afraid of HIV and AIDS since they, remember in like middle school, I'm older than you probably, but in middle school, they used to constantly like hammer that shit.
That's how they got it.
That's how they got it, ironically. One of the best Chris Rock jokes of all time is like, took my AIDS test, passed it, got a D+.
Oh my gosh.
KSOK, do you have people come on your podcast?
You know what? So the business leadership one, no, it's just me and a co-host. But I know I had my political podcast for 2.5 years.
No
and
biggie.
Talking to Anthony, I might bring it back over.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be great. So yeah, just to wrap this up, I just want to give you guys all an image in your brain right now. Okay. I want you to envision the new Jewish president of Mexico. Is she Mexican? Is her blood spicy? Is she Mexican?
I think she's from Tijuana, but yes.
Yes, she's Mexican. She's
okay, but she's just a Jew by religion.
Wait, hold on. You're asking that because she's Jewish and white. Kash, you're the one that says I'm not black. I'm an American.
No, I know. I'm trying to make a funny. I'm trying to make a funny here. All right. Okay. Can you imagine her getting upset at Joe Biden at a meeting or something because he does something stupid, and then she takes off her chancla and just starts beating his ass with it? That's why I was asking if she was Mexican, because that's a part of Mexican culture. I got my ass whooped with chanclas growing up by people that weren't my parents, other people's parents that I just stayed night. Their mom took that chancla off, beat. Boy, I'm telling you, that would be great. But anyway,
Kash, you know how I know you're black?
What's up?
Because you were raised by other people's parents. Go ahead. Anyways, moving on.
See that, Mom? He just called you black. He just called you black.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm gonna be canceled for that one.
Dang, man, I had a real funny joke. I can't even say it though because I'll get banned. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great night out there. Sorry if I was a little off the rails tonight. See, what had happened was I woke up this morning feeling a little upset when I seen that video, and I'm like, you can't just stay being nice all the time and not letting loose, because if you don't let loose, then you're not really saying how you feel, and then that means you're lying to the people. So you got to just be yourself and tell people to go get fucked sometimes. So that's what I'm back doing. Sometimes if you come in the comment section and you start talking crazy, expect me to talk crazy back. It's all in good humor. It's good fun. For me, it won't be for you because I know how to roast. Because as Russo will tell you, I am black, and that's what the fuck we did in the hood, is just roast all day long. I'll roast your ass if you want to come in the comment talking crazy. All right. With that being said, I hope everybody has a great night out there. God bless. And watch out for the government. There are some very, very nasty swamp creatures out there that just want to take your money and potentially your freedom, especially if you're darker skinned. Unite, don't fight, the street light. Only you can be the change which see the world. When you get too stressed out, gotta remember to pray, America. Because without God, everything falls apart. That's a fact.
Woo! My face hurts from laughing and smiling so much. Oh my gosh.
Finish it, Cash. Finish it.
Yeah, brother.
Oh, that's good stuff. It's so good. So many good things happen. I don't even know what to do right now. So many good things. We had, just as a heads up, for the people on Instagram, make sure you follow the account. We're at 634 people on, not Instagram, on
I was just gonna say, you
X,
meta person.
on X. By the way, I offered a boxing match to a guy on Instagram. He was talking about how I'm just some tough guy behind the screen. I said, I'm 6'2", 215. You want to box? And he's like, I'm 6'3", 250 pounds. I looked at his picture from 2004, which was the last time he showed what he looks like. And I said, I think we're good with that. Let's go ahead and tango. You find a place to box, and I got you there,
Shut
Chub
your
Monster.
freaking mouth. Shut your mouth.
You shut your mouth.
Filthy hole in your face. Follow me on Twitter, everybody. Cash Lee Kelly 1.
Facts.
Even though he's really the number 2.
Oh my gosh.
You smell like a number 2.
Facts.